Moscow was a city of shadows, a place where every conversation might be overheard, every stranger might be an informant, and every park bench might hold a secret that could change the world. During the Cold War, the city wasn't just the Soviet capital, it was the chessboard of global espionage. And at the center of this silent game lay one of the most mysterious practices of spycraft, the dead drop. Imagine it, a hollow brick in a wall, a metal tube buried beneath a tree, a tin can taped under a lamppost. Ordinary objects invisible to millions of citizens passing by. But to spies, these were lifelines, secret vaults where information lived and died. The dead drop was silent, invisible and deadly. And in Moscow, it became both art and obsession. Dead drops weren't invented in Moscow, but the city gave them a new identity. From Tsarist revolutionaries to Bolshevik couriers, Russia had long traditions of secret exchanges. But in the Cold War, they became a high-stakes weapon. By the late 1940s, the United States and the Soviet Union had entered a bitter rivalry. Nuclear secrets, military strategies, political plots. Everything was valuable. Yet Moscow was the hardest city in the world for foreign intelligence officers. The KGB's watchful eye turned every embassy, every foreigner, into a potential suspect. Face-to-face meetings with agents were nearly impossible. One wrong glance, one tail on the street, and an entire network could collapse. The solution was as elegant as it was dangerous. The dead drop. No meetings, no faces, no witnesses. Just a hidden exchange where one spy left something behind and another retrieved it later. Tradecraft manuals described it like choreography. The first step, choose the location. It had to be ordinary enough not to attract attention, but unique enough to be remembered. A park bench in Gorky Park, a loose brick in a wall near Red Square, a drainage pipe along the Moscow River. Next came the signal. You couldn't just leave a package and hope. The delivering agent needed to tell his handler, the drop is ready. Sometimes it was a chalk mark on a lamppost, sometimes a chewing gum wrapper on a curb, sometimes an ad placed in the classifieds with a coded phrase. The retrieval would happen hours, days, even weeks later, minimizing risk but maximizing tension. Inside the drop might be a film canister with rolls of microfilm, a coded message, or even a wad of cash for an asset. In some cases, Western intelligence agencies used high-tech gadgets, hollow coins, fake batteries, or specially designed dead drop spikes that could be buried in soil and later retrieved. Every detail mattered. How the agent walked to the drop, whether he carried shopping bags to blend in, whether he tied his shoelaces to disguise bending down. In Moscow, paranoia was survival. The history of Moscow's dead drops reads like a thriller. One of the most legendary cases involved Oleg Penkovsky, a Soviet military intelligence officer who secretly worked for the CIA and MI6 in the early 1960s. Penkovsky delivered priceless intelligence about Soviet missiles, material that proved crucial during the Cuban Missile Crisis. His method? Dead drops scattered across Moscow. Penkovsky used everything from candy boxes to book covers to conceal his reports. He would leave packages under benches or in stairwells, then signal with chalk marks or a piece of tape on a lamppost. For months, his handlers successfully retrieved his drops, smuggling the secrets out of the USSR. But in 1962, the KGB caught on. Penkovsky was arrested, tried, and executed. His downfall was a chilling reminder that in Moscow, even the best tradecraft carried a death sentence. Another case came decades later. In the 1980s, when American diplomat Paul Stombaugh was caught using a dead drop in Moscow. The Soviets broadcast his spy kit on television, hollow containers, maps, disguises, proof that even late in the Cold War, the game of drops and signals was alive. For every spy who planted a drop, the KGB tried to anticipate it. Soviet counterintelligence officers spent years studying Western techniques. They patrolled parks, monitored embassy staff, and even created counter-drops, fake sites designed to lure agents into revealing themselves. Sometimes they let a drop sit untouched, watching to see who came to retrieve it. Other times, they replaced the package with a dummy to test whether a network was real. This cat-and-mouse game became a kind of shadow war. Western agents learned to layer misdirection, leaving fake signals, doubling back on routes, or planting decoy drops to confuse surveillance. But the KGB had one advantage: Moscow itself. Unlike Washington or London, where anonymity could be found in crowds, Moscow was a city where foreigners stood out. A single Western face buying ice cream on the wrong street could raise alarms. That made every dead drop a test of nerves. Behind the technical brilliance of dead drops were human lives. Some stories were heroic, others tragic. There was the Soviet engineer who, convinced that nuclear war would destroy humanity, passed diagrams of missile silos through drops for years before being betrayed by a colleague. His reward was a life sentence in a labor camp. There was the American diplomat's wife who acted as a courier, hiding rolls of microfilm in baby strollers and leaving them in drops disguised as innocent family outings. And there were ordinary Muscovites who stumbled by accident into the theater of espionage. One old man, walking his dog, reportedly found a dead drop hidden inside a brick near his apartment. He turned it into the local police, setting off a chain of investigations that nearly exposed a CIA network. Each story reveals the same paradox. The dead drop was meant to minimize human risk, yet it always carried the weight of human weakness. One careless move, one act of betrayal, and the entire system unraveled. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, many thought the age of the dead drop was over. The world was moving digital. Messages could be encrypted, files sent through computers, intelligence passed with a click. But old habits die hard. In 2010, Russian state television broadcast the arrest of a US diplomat accused of using a modern dead drop. The spy kit looked like something from the 1960s, wigs, maps, and fake mustaches. In 2013, the FBI revealed how Russian agents in New York used Wi-Fi networks as digital dead drops, exchanging bursts of encrypted data instead of packages. In Moscow today, the idea of the dead drop still lingers. The locations have changed. No longer just benches and lampposts, but servers, flash drives, and burner phones. Yet the principle is the same: separation, invisibility, trust. A spy leaves something behind. Another retrieves it. The city keeps its silence. It's tempting to dismiss dead drops as old-fashioned spy games. But their legacy is profound. They represent the ultimate lesson of espionage, that history can turn on the smallest exchanges. A folded note in a tin can, a strip of film buried beneath a tree, a chalk mark that signals life or death. Dead drops remind us that espionage isn't just about satellites and supercomputers. It's about people, ordinary men and women who risked everything to pass secrets in the quiet corners of a hostile city. It's about the ways states wage war without firing a shot, fighting not with bullets but with whispers. And it's about the haunting truth that still echoes today. In the shadow world, the most powerful weapon is often the one you never see. The question: were dead drops just clever tricks of their time? Or are they timeless reminders that the fate of nations often rests on the smallest secrets? Tell me in the comments, which Moscow story shocked you the most? The betrayed engineer? The courier with a baby stroller? Or the chalk mark that doomed a spy? If you found this story chilling, remember, the world of espionage is full of mysteries like these. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because in our next episode, we'll uncover another hidden chapter of spy history the world was never meant to know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.